Hi there, and welcome to another short web snippet brought to you by the guys here at Innova Systems. My name is Matthew, and this time I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about a couple of methods that we can use to check that we've set the contacts up correctly in our SolidWorks simulation studies. So let's have a look. Okay, what you'll see I've got here is a pretty simple construction. If I just switch to an exploded view so we can have a look, you'll see that it's been constructed using a number of sheet metal parts, and we've got a number of edge flanges on each of the parts, which will be used to maintain the contact between each of them. Okay, so if I was setting this up in a study, for example, we might have a fixture on the bottom face here, and perhaps a compressive force on the top face here. Now, what I've done is removed the global contact and come in and started specifying local contacts. So you'll see we've got a large list of contacts building up here. Now, this is a fairly simple assembly, so you'll appreciate that as your assemblies get more and more complex, the number of contacts you'll be building up here will get bigger and bigger, and it'll be really difficult to keep on top of it all. So what you might find, as in this case here, is that you may have missed a couple. So if I have a look at my stress results, we'll see that they look fairly realistic. We've got a peak stress coming in here, but in a sharp corner like that, we might be looking at a singularity or something like that. So we might expect that in this location. Aside from that, we haven't really got anything else that tells us that we're missing contacts. So what I usually do when I'm setting up a study with a large number of contacts is I actually use a neat little trick. What I'm first going to do is come in and generate a new study, and in this case use a frequency study. I'm just going to call this one test. I'm just going to delete the global contact that we first have when it comes in, because that comes in by default and we don't have that in our other study. And then I'm just going to drag all of the necessary components, so my material properties, my contacts, and in this case I'll bring my fixture over. So I'm just going to drag those over onto my test study, and you'll see that they populate in this tree also. In actual fact, I'm probably going to use the mesh as well. Okay, now setting up this study doesn't get much more complex than this. I'm just going to verify that I've got sufficient frequencies set up here. And now what SolidWorks is going to do when I hit run is calculate the natural vibrational frequencies of the model as it sits right now. And because we've fixed that bottom face, we've removed all of the 6 rigid body vibration modes, so we won't see any whole body translations. Instead, the first few natural vibration modes are going to expose any areas where we haven't got our contact set up correctly. The other really nice thing about using the frequency analysis tool is it's a really quick solve. So in comparison to our static stress analysis, the solve will be much quicker, and hence it's better for us to run a frequency study first instead of running our static analysis and then finding out that we haven't set it up correctly. And so here we can see that in this case we've got a big tear opening up down the side of our model. And as I flip through each of the mode shapes, you'll see that everything seems to be focused on this one area that seems to be problematic. And if I just animate this, we'll see how the lack of contacts in that area is giving us the problem. Okay, that's one handy tool that I like to use. Another quick and fairly painless method is to use the automatic contact search. So if I right click on our contact set and come into the contacts, what we can do is select this radio button here which says to automatically find contact sets. If I leave it at touching faces, what I'm going to do is in this set I'm just going to grab all of the components that I've got here, specify a bonded contact type, and ask it to find the contacts. And here you'll see that it's populating a list of all of the contacts that it has found between the components that I've specified. If I select the top and shift select the bottom, that grabs all of them, and I can click this button here which says to create contact sets. And now you'll see we get a warning saying that I'm about to try and create contact sets between items that have already got contacts. So we can choose not to override those. and then only the areas that haven't already got contact specified will receive that additional contact. Now you'll see that our list has populated and we've got all of our contacts correctly. The one issue with this method is that as your designs get larger and more complex, this method does become slightly more cumbersome. But that frequency analysis test is a very, very quick, easy and useful method for assessing whether you've got your contacts set up correctly. Okay, that's about all I've got time for. So as always, if you want to get in touch, you can drop by our website, which is www.innova-systems.co.uk. Give us an email at support@innova-systems.co.uk or call us on the number that you see on your screen now.